My friends, hello and welcome to Perfect Dark SpeedLore, the series where we examine the world record history and the legacy of speedrunners who have competed in the 2000 Nintendo 64 video game Perfect Dark over the last 22 years, and we do so through the lens of the world record progression on a single stage. And tonight we have a stage that one of the world record holders simply described to me the other day as evil. It is a stage that combines both an incredible amount of luck with one of the most challenging stages to survive in the game. It is Attack Ship Perfect Agent. It's insane. Only a few daunting, intrepid men have set world records on this stage, including some great players who have not set records on the stage, and we'll get it all into that very soon through tonight's episode. And let's learn a little bit more about this strange level. So Attack Ship is the second last stage in the sort of main canon of the game. There's a few bonus stages after Skedar Ruins, but this one is before Skedar Ruins. You are taken to a Skedar ship, and they're abducting you, and anyways, you redirect it to their planet, and you deal with this species of creature one way, and install peace in the universe. What a utopic story. And so the objectives on this level are these. Attack Ship Perfect Agent. You're on a foreign ship, so you have to disable their shield system. Then you have to go and open their hangar doors so that your Mayan friends, Elvis and Co, can land on the ship and help you out. Then you have to access the navigational systems. That makes sense. You have to, tell the ship where to go. Then you have to sabotage the engine. That sounds like quite something. And then gain control of the bridge. And then the ship is yours, and you'll pilot it to the Skedar Ruins. Makes enough sense, doesn't it? And so we're going to watch kind of an example run / an early world record, but because this level is so difficult to beat, we'll just get into some of the earliest world records on the stage. And the earliest documented world record we have is actually from our old pal N-Gamer, 805 from June 2000. And so this is like, within weeks of the game being released. N-Gamer was probably the first person to beat Attack Ship Perfect Agent, and posted his time of 805, or it was documented one way or another. That's very cool that we had this 805 to look back upon by N-Gamer, a rare N-Gamer credited untied. Now, we would also see Marshmallow get 355, and we remember that Marshmallow, super early pioneer, one of the first GoldenEye full game runs, had a few early Perfect Dark runs as well. He claimed a 355 on August 9, 2000, so long ago. There's no video of that, but there is a video of his 418. And so we're going to watch his 418 and see if we can glean some sort of idea of how the level is played. And, of course, sharing a 4-minute video back in 2000 would be next to impossible. And so, cuts, there's no intro cutscene that we're going to see. We'll probably see it a bit later. It just gets right into the action. So let's take a look at this 418 by Marsh. Runs over here. He waits for Cassandra to scream as she gets pwned by a Skedar, because then this guy gets distracted and you can swipe him in one knife. You get his mauler, and you shoot those 3 computers, and Objective 1 is complete. This is actually pretty good movement for back in this time, honestly. So that was Objective 1. Objective 2, you have to go over here to open the hangar doors. Objective 1, destroying those computers, was to get the shields down. Objective 2, instead of destroying the computers, you have to press B to, open the hangar doors. And it's kind of interesting how that works in, GoldenEye Perfect Dark. Always kind of works like that. It's like, it'll trick you, like, oh, do you destroy these machines, or do you press B? harkens to the Surface 1 and Surface 2 difference. A very, the guys who made these games, this was very typical of what they would do to kind of trick you up and kind of make you trial and error your way through the games. And so we can see Marsh is out here in the hangar area, and you have to pass away a certain number of Skedar in order for Elvis to say, okay, let's go up, let's move on. But the Mayan contingent here will help you out and pass away a few as well. It looks like he's done about 5 or 6, and that'll do the trick, so he's on his way up. Gets the Mauler here, and now, down there they kind of repeatedly spawn for a while. Up here they don't, but you definitely have to take out the ones that you encounter on this path. And we're seeing him really kind of explore through the ship. It's tough to know if he really has a designated or known path. The game's only been out 3 or 4 months at this point. And you really want to take all these ones out because they do really, really often pass away Elvis. If you're not careful. All the time, Elvis. Very, very common to see Elvis pass away here. And he kind of led Elvis to the room, or that's the navigation room. He's going to complete Objective 3 right there. You see, he hacked away at the computers there. And now Marsh is busy exploring the rest of the stage, getting towards the bridge where the level ends. And he's lost a lot of health. I would estimate that they would survive less than 2% of runs at this point in history. I mean, it probably doesn't get much better from there. So this room, you have to destroy these 2 pieces of this large engine in order to complete Objective 4. Once you destroy them, the countdown timer goes from like 5 or 10 seconds, and then Objective 4 completes, it blows up. If you were still in that room, you would pass away. The whole room blows up severely. And we can see Marsh is like very low health, like he's in the red. Halfway through the red, he's almost passed away. And I bet you he got 5 or 10 similar runs where he did pass away. And there was like a Skedar he left alive there, and that's like fine, that's normal. Because Elvis can deal with some, but you don't want to leave him too many. And here, see, he has to dodge over here, because now there's 3 on the final bridge. And then, once these 3 are dealt with, about 12 seconds later, if Elvis is still alive, he'll come into this room. And then you have to pass away 3 more Skedar from inside this area. 3 more from this zone and 3 more from the other zone, from the other kind of hallway. And they take a while to spawn in. So there's 1, 2. Oh my god, he really almost botched that. 3. Oh, and it completed. Insane. Wow. So that was a 418. It's amazing. He did it, baby. 418. Attack ship perfect agent. Nice run, Marsh. Now, I'm actually going to watch my explanation of the ending. 90 seconds of a clip that I made when I made a video about Chuya's world record on Agent. But the ending still applies. So let's watch this 90-second clip to really understand how the ending is supposed to be played and how it is played. So to better understand the ending, let's first watch this random run I played out earlier to demonstrate the intended ending. The lift pushes you up into the bridge room, where you have to take out 3 more Skedar. Once you do so, the room eerily goes quiet for about 12 seconds until Elvis walks through the left of these 2 doors. Elvis runs onto the bridge, and then Skedar starts spawning, running out of these 2 doors. And once you kill 6 of them, or so, it deems you've taken control of the bridge, Objective 3 completes, and about a second later, the level fades out in completion. Now let's watch how it plays out on Boss's 210 run. We'll see him take out the 3 Skedar on the bridge, then about 12 seconds later Elvis runs in. Now you'll see Boss stand in the doorway where Elvis exited. This prevents it from closing, and does something very useful. You see, of those 6 Skedar who we fought on the previous run, only 2 of them were real to begin with. Those 2 are located behind the 2 doors in this room. We'll call them real left door Skedar and real right door Skedar. They're always there, even as the level loads, and are cloaked and invulnerable, waiting to battle. And they're the only 2 Skedar you need to kill here at the ending to complete the mission. At first, they send out clones of themselves, something enemies can do in both Perfect Dark and GoldenEye if they're outside of your line of sight. However, if you're looking directly at the real left or real right door Skedar, they cannot send out any clones. So Boss is standing in the doorway, preventing real left door Skedar from cloning himself, and when you see him uncloak there, that's the real left door Skedar. Once you kill him, he obviously can't send out any more clones either. Boss then moves to the other door and kills the first Skedar who exits. This Skedar is a clone, but since you kill him and stand in the now open doorway, looking at the real right door Skedar, the next Skedar to uncloak will be the real one, and once you kill him, you will complete the level. Now, isn't that incredibly fascinating? And what I find really interesting is that on this run from Marsh back in like 2000, like the game has just come out, you know, they probably didn't know the full mechanics of how it worked or why it worked. Like, they didn't know that the Skedar send out clones and stuff. But it is very interesting to see that they did know enough that if you go in here, you only have to deal with the 1 Skedar on the left side, and then only 2 on the other side. Yeah, and Niall points out in chat that, you know, Marsh in here goes inside this left hallway. He shoots the real left door Skedar, then comes out, there's a clone, there's the right side clone Skedar, and now here's the real right door Skedar. But it is really, really amazing to see that in 2000, they must have like trial and errored, or like sort of just, it just so happened that they realized, oh, if we go inside the hallway on the left, this is actually a way to have to eliminate fewer Skedar at the end of the stage. And that's really, really interesting to know. I'm actually stunned that they knew that this early in the game's development in speedrunning history. Alright, we're going to fly through a little bit of the earliest world record history here. You know, the records, obviously we saw a lot of points in this run where Marsh is kind of, you know, going here or there, and, you know, it's super early, not on an optimal route. So there's tons of time to be chopped off here. And so we can see that Paragon got a 352, which is pretty cool. This is only 3 seconds cut off Marsh's 355. Not a huge deal, but pretty cool. You know, Paragon, legendary champion of the game. He would lower this to 344, which we can see right here. Pretty nice. And there is a video, but, you know, we'll see some runs of a similar pace kind of soon, so we'll skip that one for now. But, you know, so we untied his own untied. Pretty cool stuff. And we're getting into 2001 here. Then we see this gentleman, Neo Dark, who got this tied 344. And this was really interesting because I've never heard of this gentleman, Neo Dark, in the least. And I went to his profile in the rankings. It says his real name is Noel Leon. He's Spanish. And, like, if we look at his times page, we only definitively know that he ever got, like, 3 records. You know, the records are sort of, have been given dates on them, like, by the historians, Joris and many others. And he only ever got these 3 records. You know, Dual Agent and Special Agent, you know, we don't even really count these anymore, and Attack Ship Perfect Agent. And it's really, really unusual to see someone, I mean, this attack ship is still worth points. It's still a top 60 time on the stage, which is insane. It makes you wonder how accurate it is, if it's accurate, etc. I mean, I would love to hear from Neo. But, you know, there's no video, unfortunately. It'd be so cool if there was. But it's very unusual that someone's only world record would be on one of the most difficult stages in the game. And I'm not saying I doubt it at all. You know, in the early days, certainly the time was out there for the taking. But it's such a rare thing to see. And so it's very cool and notable, I guess, that this gentleman, Neo Dark, if just for a moment, had 344 on the stage and tied, you know, the untied from the legendary Paragon. All right, we then see this 342 by Expert Gamer. You know, let's take a look at this. We can see the opening cutscene. He watches a bit more of it. And the reason he watches more of it is because now he doesn't have to... We saw, you know, on March's run, he waited for Cassandra to get far enough into the level where she passes away from the Skedar. By watching the cutscene, Expert Gamer did not have to do that at all. He just had to run in there and slash the Skedar. So already he saved a couple seconds, and I'm sure we'll see him, you know, save similar time throughout this run. Now he's going to come up here, go through this door, press B here, bingo bango, funny little backstrafe, very cute little movement, but you got to be careful because these Skedar are out and about, coming to get you. You'll talk to Elvis. Now let's see his sort of motion in this room, because Marsh was running back and forth between all the hangars. And Expert is just going to stay right here and shoot out these Skedar. And this is more in line with how we would do it today, you know. You want to shoot out 5 or 6 of these guys. They spawn in. You need to hope, it looks like 5. You need to hope that they have good death animations, too. The slower animations, the slower they are to spawn. The big hangar door can close. And it really takes a long time for, you know, you to have an opportunity to shoot them. And you want to shoot 5 of those guys and then start moving upstairs. We see him take out both those Skedar and go to the left side of this upstairs area. And likewise, he's going to dip into the darker hallway and then go to the navigation room and shoot these 2 guys. And now he's in the insane navigation room. And he's going to kind of wait for Elvis to come on in. He really didn't like kind of wait for Elvis, but Elvis got there. And we see Objective 3 completed, which is amazing. And now he's going to go in there and shoot out the engines. So here we go, baby. Nice shot on the Skedar. And you can easily take a ton of damage. If they slash you with their claws, you just really, really pass away there. That was, you know, the video is aged incredibly. And so it was a bit laggy there. And the run was probably laggy too. And now it looks he has to wait for a lift. If this lift was open, I mean, this is like 4, 5, 6, 7. You know, that was like 8 seconds if that lift was open. And there's certainly some latency to it. Some lag affects it. Timing also affects it. This lift was wide open, which is great, though. So that's very, very epic. And here we go. He's shooting out the Skedar. And now we're going to get 12 seconds for Elvis to come, and then we're going to carry on there. Sul Orok in chat, our SpeedLore champion, says he finds Perfect Dark SpeedLore very interesting because he didn't play Perfect Dark when he was younger, and he never learned the levels that well, so he enjoys seeing all the levels be played, and that's very epic, Sul. I thank you for that nice comment and your interest in Perfect Dark SpeedLore. And we see here Expert Gamer on the left side shoots the real left door Skedar, the right door clone, and then the real right door Skedar. And there he actually... So we can see a couple differences on this 342. Like, this one was kind of big here compared to Marsh. He stands and blocks this door from closing, so that way he can back out much more quickly when the real left door Skedar pops in and appears. And that is definitely faster than, you know, turning around, opening the door, and then going out here. So, very cool stuff for Expert getting 342. A great, great run from July 2001. So, nice stuff. And now we have a good idea of how the level's going to be played. And it is going to be played like this more and more throughout the ages, as we'll find out. Now, I found a really kind of funny thread here, which was this. A guy named Funky Toad, who I actually never have heard of, I don't know this man, is like, hey, does anyone have a safe strat for attack ship PA? It makes me angry. You know, fair enough, Funky Toad. And then Expert Gamer has this entire strategy breakdown, which is insane. And then everyone's like, oh my god, that was insane. Great strategy breakdown. And of course, you know, it looks like it was actually written by Marshmallow. So maybe this is the strategy that Marshmallow wrote and Expert Gamer used to get the Untied, which is pretty cool to see, you know. There was a funny a funny quote here where he says something about, let's see, the Christmas light room. Let's see, I'm going to control that for Christmas light. This is the room I like to call the Christmas light room. That has a cheery name, doesn't it? Maybe too cheery. How about the Christmas light room of death? The lights are green and make me feel all jolly. That's really funny. I wonder what room he's talking about there. He must be talking about the navigation room, and they were just calling it the Christmas light room because of it, which is really, really funny. You know, we're about a year after the game's been released, and still they don't like, what's this room called? Oh, it has an objective in it, but at least I think that's the room he's talking about. Here we see a guy named Skedar Hunter, which is a really funny and appropriate name, say, I finally improved that god-awful attack ship PA record. It went from 2436 to 851. So a nice improvement for our pal Skedar Hunter. Still, he's quite far off the world record, but Skedar Hunter, if you're somewhere out there, shout-outs to you. We see our pal Golden Vins, who, you know, he certainly enjoyed SpeedLore there. He was a past SpeedLore legend. He had the Untied on attack ship, a 337. So that's pretty cool. You know, I correct myself, it was not Untied. He had the Tied record there. He tied a Paragon record. And Paragon had 337 in 2001. And it remained untied for a full year until Golden Vins came along and slayed the Untied. But that's still pretty cool. Our pal Golden Vins nailed the tied world record there. Again, it's a level that very few people have ever had the world record on. So any record is pretty significant. And indeed, hello Golden Vins, if you see this this SpeedLore episode yourself. Just looking through to see how many people have had the world record on the stage. Attack ship. So it looks like about 15 players have ever had the world record here. And we've already seen about 4 or 5, so there's not going to be too many more, you know? And the record would slowly improve. We would see, you know, Carl would get a 330 back in 2002. You know, pretty typical when he was getting up to champion and so on. His pal Jugador would get a 329 in June 03. And Jugador was very good at discovering strategies and optimizations. And then we would see your Eliteness with a bit of an improvement to this time. So we're going to watch this Your Eliteness run. This is from August 2003. Let's dive in, baby. This is going to be, what, 15 seconds faster than Expert's run? I wonder if we'll be able to find out where it is, where he saved all this time. Open the door, bingo, bango, bongo. That was really nice. Oh, okay, so he, like, skipped shooting that Skedar, which is somewhat risky, but he doesn't, like, come back to get you, so it's a reasonable one to skip. Oh, that lift was timed perfectly, so that's very positive. He's going up. Be there. Very nice. Slides in. So he's kind of playing a bit more risky. skipping a lot of shooting the Skedars. Of course, you have to shoot these ones because you need to get rid of 5 in order for Elvis to say, okay, good enough, let's go upstairs. So one, he turned there, but one hadn't spawned yet. Now a 4th one's going to spawn. He's going to turn back around. This one's spawning. He gets 5. He's going for the 6th there. Ooh, he's going in for 7. Insane. Taking a look for an 8th. Gets that one over there, and now he's going to go up. Let's see. Very interesting to pause there. Probably check his TT on the corner. Go in this room. Now, I expect I'm going to see something different in this room. You see he's going on the right side here, which is the more modern convention. And we go here. And so, yeah, on the other guys, they kind of dipped into the black room for some, shooting of the Skedar and then kind of backtracking. So YE did not do that here, which makes a lot of sense. And you kind of just have to hope Elvis completes, which is sort of a more luck-based thing at that point. But it is what it is. There we go. Runs right through here. Again, that room is brutal. The Skedar really gets you there. I'm assuming this is the Christmas light room that Marsh was referencing, because that's where the green lights are, you know? That's my best guess. Maybe they predicted my own stream setup. Who knows? Nice hit there. Ooh, that was... Look at that door timing. That was beautiful. Ooh, barely missed that lift. That was so close. If he hit that lift, it probably would have been 2 or 3 seconds faster. Wow, I was going to say he had a lot of good health, but, like, he took a lot of damage from that one Skedar, which is kind of insane. And so this is going to be a 327, which is pretty nice. And we can see just better lift timing is really what the main difference that I could see on this run, you know? It makes sense that after 2 or 3 years of the gaming out, we would have a little better understanding of these lifts and play out a much cleaner run. 327, your Eliteness. It's truly amazing. So nicely done there. A great record. And it looks like in Summer 03, him and Jugador had a bit of a rivalry. You know, Jugador had the 329, your Eliteness 327, and then Jugador got this 323. And should I show it? But we haven't had an in-game sound one yet, so I'll let this. I'll link this one. You guys will see it in the description if you want. It has like a Red Hot Chili Pepper song in it. I want to get to a in-game sound video, which, well, we might not get to one for a while, but 323 by Jugador. You know what? I want to just see this room specifically. I want to see how many Skedar he shoots in the hangar. So 1 there, 2, 3. It's spawning pretty quick. Yeah, good idea. Go over here, crack that open. 4. Oh my god, he could have passed away there. 5, 6. Is he gonna go for it? Oh, Elvis said time to head upwards. Oh, he shouldn't have shot those guys. He should have left 2 or 3 seconds earlier. And so I think, like, optimizing this area and figuring exactly when to go upwards is going to be the next kind of optimization on the stage, and how we're going to get moving and progressing even faster runs. So this 323 by Jugador would actually stay untied for about a year as well, a half a year. August 03, and then his pal Carl would beat it in March 04. So pretty nice stuff. Then we see a 319 by Your Eliteness. Unfortunately, no video. We see a 318 by Funky Buddha. Unfortunately, no video in November 04. And then in December of 04, we see a video, your Eliteness would improve it once again. It's kind of interesting because it's just kind of realizing there that, like, all the world records on this stage were from Australians, from Carl's 330 to this run, and maybe even beyond it. Which I find really interesting because, well, for one, it shows that PAL was kind of the more advantaged way to play the level. Like, PAL is significant. Elvis completes way more often on PAL, and it just, like, it's always kind of been that way, where the harder levels to survive are a bit more favorable on PAL. So that's kind of interesting. And so, of course, the Australians thrived on this stage for a long time. But it's interesting that the Europeans didn't. And I wonder why that is. I mean, Golden Vins had the record, but I wonder why the Europeans didn't thrive as much. Oh, this is we got a classic left ear run. This is your Eliteness, December 04. That's kind of his prime zone.
I better not be.
You know, he was probably on a Christmas break from school and just grinding out some perfect dark, historic speedruns. There we go. So he's opening the door, then shooting him out and running right on there. That was really smooth, honestly. That was really nice. Kind of broke full speed there, but like doesn't really matter because he had to press B and then jump through the door. There's B. Ooh, kind of missed that shot. Gonna just hope Elvis doesn't pass away. Which is like a very luck-based thing. Like a lot of runs, Elvis would simply pass right away, and it would be GG. Well, GG to the point you reset and, you know, not the end of the world, so to speak, but looks like two of those quickly went in. Oh, run up, baby, run up. As soon as the lift opens, you want to run up. And so that's obviously going to save a lot of time compared to the last run we watched, which was like a 327. 1, 2, 3. Like the kind of the pacing of those shots is like very... Like, you really learn that pacing of those shots. And you have to hit it, because if you don't, you know, you obviously lose time. And the auto-aim's not great on the non-Japanese versions of the game, but you'll learn it well. It's quite a rhythm. 1, 2, 3. You can easily pass away here from all the Skelar. Oh man, look how much damage he took there. That easily could have gone awry. Gets another shot. He's getting low on health. Running up, shooting the Skedar. We're gonna get towards the end. And Sula Rock left a great comment in chat about why perhaps the Europeans weren't as in on Perfect Dark. And this is certainly partly because of what he says. The PlayStation 2 was massive in Europe. Many of us got one because the built-in DVD player made it easy to persuade our parents to buy it. And so maybe because the Europeans were busy playing PS2, they weren't so busy playing N64. And that totally does make sense. Like, I'm sure there was shipping, you know, it was probably harder to get these stuff in the PlayStations in Australia, and maybe they had N64s. Could be a cultural thing, but it's a very interesting suggestion, Sewell. If you bought a PS2, you wouldn't have to also buy a DVD player. Totally. Great ending. That was a great end on this 316. What a run. What a rush, baby. Your Eliteness 316. A very, very good speedrun. December 2704. Very good. And its legendary run has a great place in history. I just don't want to linger on it too long because, you know, we have a lot of amazing runs to get to tonight, no doubt. Sula Rock says that Perfect Dark had a big red 18 only sticker on it, so many who played GoldenEye weren't allowed to buy Perfect Dark. It makes a lot of sense. Oh yeah, and Perfect Dark required the expansion pack, the RAM, yeah, memory pack. That's what they called it. So totally, it did. That makes it makes perfect sense why it was less popular. And of course, the Australians are back at it. You know, they were the ones running with this level for a long time. Funky Buddha in June 05 got 315. And a year and a bit later, in September 2006, Funky Buddha would get one of the most significant runs in Perfect Dark history. A run so significant that, of course, we must dedicate it to a SpeedLore champion. And not only a SpeedLore champion, but the SpeedLore apotheosis. It's a one-of-a-kind run with a great legacy, as we'll see. And so this one goes out to our pal, E Street. A huge thanks, E Street, for all your support of SpeedLore on Patreon. It is indeed truly remarkable. And so let's take a look at this unbelievable speedrun by Funky Buddha from September 06. And we get some really insane trance music in this run. Funky Buddha was big on the trance scene. You know, it's kind of interesting because he only has he doesn't have a massively deep history of, well, you know, he didn't get 100 world records in his career. He only got a handful, but the ones he got were usually very, very significant. That was kind of interesting how he was crouching out of there. Definitely not that fast to do that. He should not have been, it was slow to get out to leave and strafe towards Elvis. You want to probably get there more quickly. But, lost less than a second, I would say. And you're going to lose more time than that based on the Skedar luck. The luck of them spawning in and out here. There we go. He's satisfied with getting those 5. Probably going to go for one here. Yep. Nailed him in the head. And the door's open, and that was going to go up. There we go. One, 2, 3, the great rhythm. Rolling in here, there's the 4th. The number 5 and 6 out here. 1, 2, up 5, 6. It's a great question. HXC Noel asks, Perfect Dark set in 2023. Are we going to get aliens coming to Earth next year? I mean, some would say yes. There's Elvis has got the completion there. Ooh, that was kind of cool. Instead of going with the AR-34 and running all the way through that room, he just did 2 Mauler shots and ran out. You could have done that with the AR-34 as well, but it's interesting that he goes to the same... came back the way he came. Oh, Santa Cazorla, this is indeed the run. This is so the run. It's almost incomprehensible. Oh man, look, the lift, the perfect lift timing. And then, let's see here, he shoots them. It's hard to get a good gauge of the ending yet because... Yep. The speed at which these Skedar spawn is random, and this is very important for your overall time on the stage. It looks like you got about a 20 ending on this run, which is good, but you can get better. You usually get a 24, so a 20 is solid, but you can get 17 or 18. And so he watches all the cutscene, this was a typical thing for Funky Buddha to do. He claims that he only started doing it because Boss did it, but I'm not even... It's one of those who did it first questions. And then we see this time of 3:12, which is now a 3-second improvement on his own untied, and is now a 4-second untied ahead of second place Your Eliteness 316. And so that run is incredibly remarkable and historic, and it's so insane. And again, the Funky Buddha was interesting because he would just show up every now and then randomly and like drop some pretty insane world record. And one could argue that that was one of his most insane of all. In fact, the record was so insane, it would go on to become the longest standing untied ever in the game Perfect Dark. By the year 2011, it was still untied. Into 2012, it was still untied. It would go more than 6 years untied. And so, when the game was only 12 years old, it had been untied for 6 years. It's kind of like, it's been untied half the time the game's been out, which is pretty crazy to think about. It'd be like if there were still untieds from 2011 today, which there are not, you know, so unbelievable world record that was, you know, amazing. And so, I mean, if you can just think what happened between 06 and 12 in your life, like, it's a long time. It's a crazy, crazy long time. And that is how long this time was untied for. But of course, it would not be untied forever. No siree. Because our pal, the big boss man, when he, especially when he was in his prime, when he would see a record kind of remain untied for that long, he would really put his eyes on it. So Boss knew it would be an extremely daunting task to go after Attack Ship Perfect Agent 312. It had been untied 6 years, but he thought now's the time. Now, he was playing on NTSC, so it's even more difficult. Like, Elvis completes more rarely. You probably pass away a little more often. It's just a more difficult thing to do. But he's Boss, and he figured, okay, if 6 years ago Funky Buddha got this time, I could probably do it too. And he's out there, and he got this run. A run so remarkable, we're going to dedicate to our SpeedLore champion, FC Bojangles. A huge thanks, FC, for all your support of SpeedLore on Patreon. Let's watch this beautiful boss run. And you know what? He has a bit of a different song playing. I believe he's got something from the one and only Banjo-Kazooie playing. You know, it's a bit too troll. Let's play the in-game sound version. But I mean, the run was so good and significant that he was so happy about getting it that he wanted to make a music version, you know?
And it's worse than that, my dear. Just look who you've got for company.
No, the hangar bay doors are in the way. You've got to open the hangar doors so we can dock.
So we can see Boss also went with the, again, he went in the same way he came out. Or vice versa, but he used the AR-34 to shoot out the engines, and that's just like a preference. That's like entirely a preference thing. Good timing on the lifts there. Had to wait a little bit there, but not a huge deal. Oh, yeah, and that's it's a weird lift, because like this obviously had been figured out at this point. But you have to wait until the lift is fully open before pressing B to close it, otherwise it closes more slowly. It's like a really weird thing, but obviously Boss knew exactly what the deal was. It's closing on him, let's see. Actually, no, I'll go back and rewatch a couple things in this run. Wow, that was a really fast ending.
Wow.
He's gonna watch the whole cutscene, so I'm just gonna skip ahead here. And indeed, 312 baby, tied. Funky Buddha's run after 6 long years, pretty insane.
Dear, just look who you've got for company.
You know, he really did, Niall. We're gonna analyze that ending in a minute here. Runs over here, gets the slash, really well timed. Mauler. He does. It's a trick to take out the. Oh my god, that was insane! The pause trick pulls it out faster, and then like just those shots were insane. Like Boss is a beast.
You've got to open the hangar doors so
So full speed nailed that lift. Presses B there. He had a tiny stuck, but not a huge deal. Oh, you open the door from the other side. Make sure he's in fast. Yeah, Boss is a beast. Oh man, that I can understand why you take your time with that scatter now, because like he can definitely troll Elvis. 1 there, 2 there, 3 spawn, 4 spawn. Needs 1 more. There's the 5th spawn. He's gonna go for the 6th there. Even going for a 7th. Oh my goodness. Needs the 8th. Time to go upwards, baby. Well, he didn't even get El Elva's speech. Time to goes upwards. If you're far from him, you won't get that speech prop. 1, 2, 3.
get our star maps.
Nails. Oh my goodness. So like, Boss YOLO'd many parts of this. Like, one of the Scatter was still alive in that room. And Boss is just saying, like, whatever, I'll let Elvis deal with it, because he had to in order to get 312. He had to YOLO everything, and this took him a long time. Many hours, many deaths, many failed runs, many Elvis passaways, but he got it. Let's see here.
Then the ship will land.
So 31, 33, 36 is when he shot the last one, so Elvis should come in at 248, which would make this a 24 ending. Oh my god. Yeah, like that was 248. And so this is like a 24 ending. And so if Boss had like a 17 ending, which is theoretically possibly could have like 305, keep that number in mind, you know? So there's the real left door, real right door, and then he just is like, I need, he YOLO'd that shot. He just guessed. He's like, in order to get 312, I need the Scatter to spawn at this moment. So he just shot and hoped for the best, which is really insane. 312, baby. Unbelievable. Nice World record, finally slayed Funky Buddha's 312 from 6 years earlier. Amazing run. Yeah, Niall in chat says, I think Boss is the most interesting style of play out of all the Eliters. It's very unique, and you can see the gears turning as you watch his runs, like what he's learning and improving. So, totally, that's definitely true. I can kind of agree. Kings asks, can Elvis fall out of the level like on Deep Sea? I don't believe he can. Boss says, finally took out the longest standing Untied in PD history. Amazing achievement, and it was the longest standing Untied in PD history, no doubt. So that's an amazing run by Boss. Untied for 2,252 days by Funky Buddha. Video was recorded using DVR. Just a classic Boss comment on his times page there. It really puts a smile on your face. I'm gonna see if I can find the world record post from Boss, just for fun. Boss is just like, FB's Untied run has ended. And he's kind of sad about it. Which is really funny. So he had been playing Attack Ship Perfect, because he was kind of baiting that he got Attack Ship Perfect Agent a month earlier in October, and he didn't. So he'd been playing it for like a month. You know, he got a different Untied at that time. So it's interesting to see that, like, you know, Boss obviously was grinding level on and off for a long time, and yeah. It's interesting that we see then Funky Buddha get a different world record, like, the next day. Which is, well, not the next day, a month later, but it's the next post, you know, in the world record topic, so that's kind of cute. The synchronicity of life. But my friend's Boss was not done there. You know, obviously, Boss didn't have the fastest ending on that run. He knew if he got a bit luckier, he could get the Untied, and so Boss kept grinding. And this amazing run he got in December 2012. Merry Christmas, baby. This speedrun is dedicated to our SpeedLore champion, 4-Day Bender. A huge thanks, 4-Day, for all your support on Patreon. Let's see what Boss would cook up about a month later.
I better not be where I think I am. And it's worse than that, my dear. Just look who you've got for company.
Oh my god, it's worse than that, baby.
I've got to get those shields down. Now only the hangar bay doors are in the way. You've got to open the hangar doors so we can dock.
It's interesting that the lift there was closed. I'm presuming that it's not that important because he's going to get probably better timing later on in the run. So I'm assuming that his later lifts are going to be insane. Now you could actually use the Mauler here, but ammo preservation is a very real thing on the stage. So you don't want to lose all your ammo. He only took out 6 guys there. He's saying, I'm doing 6 and I'm gonna go for it. Hopefully get a 7th here. Let his Mayan friends take out 1 or 2 others. And he's moving up at 116, 117. Really nice movement through there. I'm curious to see if this run is like much better than his previous one at the like end timer, or you know, the ending is the whole section we call the stage, you know. Let's see, he gets his angle. There's like many Skedars shooting at you there. That guy could easily just slash you to death. good movement. So I think he shot... Okay, so that door was like perfectly timed. It was closing as he was entering it. I think he shot the last scatter on the bridge. Oh, that... You have to wait for it to fully close. It was like 2:36. So he's... Oh my god, he's way ahead. 2:30... Well, actually, he kind of, you know... It ended up being like 2:35 there, so only about a second faster. You have to wait till it's fully open. That's right. It was opening, and so he pressed B just as it fully opened, which was for the best. So 301. Oh my god, this is actually kind of painful. That must have been a pretty quick first spawn. Oh, and that is insane. Wow.
Wow. That's the first time I've seen...
In the future, we're gonna see people pause buffer those to an excruciating degree. But, you know, Boss, Thunder Chad Boss is just YOLOing it. It was like a 247, 248. So it's still like a 24 end, right? Yeah. Like 308, 307 is on the table if Boss just got a luckier ending. You're like, that scatter could have been out of there 3 or 4 seconds ago now. And then this one could have spawned through, you know. He spawned quickly, but in relation to the other one, if the right cloned Skedar came out 3 seconds earlier, which he could have, the real one could have uncloaked, you know, 1 second after that, and 307 or 308's out there, like, no doubt. But Boss, you know, is happy with 311. It's a good run, and untied when set. Video was recorded using DVR. What else do you say, baby? Boss did it. Here's the top 10 longest standing untieds ever, and we can see that Funky Buddha's 312 is there. It's on the list still. And it's interesting that Attack Ship SA by Boss is on the list ahead of it, and Attack Ship Agent is ahead of that. And so we can see that a lot of attack ship runs always end up making it as like the longest standing untieds, which is kind of insane. And we can see at 2252 days, nothing today is even close. Like, we're at 800 days, so we need, like, you know, if Aces G5 SA stays on time for 4 more years, it can make the list. Like, that's what it's going to take. Because, so, like, we've had a cleanse of all the perfect Art World records. They've all been improved recently. But it is interesting how the attack ship records are on this list. Who, where, and when would improve this 311, if ever? You know, we know it didn't stay on time for 6 years. That would have taken us till 2018. So we know it didn't go that long. Otherwise, it would have been on that list. Well, at this point, we're only going to touch on it briefly in this level, but only 4 months later, we would see the beginning of the Japanese rush through Perfect Dark. Well, you know, we probably saw it even earlier than that, but Cedric was coming on to become the champion. And you know what, just like last time, I'm going to pull up the Grease Pig progression video and see right at this time just how, like, where Cedric was on the rankings right at this moment in time. April 2013. So he's in 4th. And see, look, now there's a huge push for Cedric to try to get to champion, which he eventually did in June. And that big jump there was right in April, as Cedric is passing Boss. And so it's probably fitting that Cedric would attempt to take down one of Boss's best world records. And let's see him do just that. In April 2013, Cedric got this run, a run so remarkable. It is dedicated to our SpeedLore champion, Sammy Limex. A huge thanks, Sammy, for all of your support.
Oh, I'd better not be where I think I am.
Of SpeedLore on Patreon.
It's worse than that, my dear. Just look who you've got.
Let's take a look at Cedric's 309, baby. It is interesting how Cedric did not play the Japanese version, and like very, very few of his
I've got to get those shields. Now only the hanabei doors are in the way.
runs were on the Japanese version, which is just kind of it is weird that we had these Japanese guys in the community at the time and they weren't playing Japanese, because there are some levels that are very significantly advantaged on Japanese. Now, Attack Ship, it's one of those kind of tight, debatable ones. Elvis completes more on Japanese than he does on NTSC English, but not quite as much as on PAL, which is the best version for this. But like Infiltration, Perfect Agent was like a big level favorite on Japanese because there's a shield. It was a tough one to survive. There was a shield that you would get that would help you survive, similar to Cavern's 00 Agent. And it's just kind of interesting that we didn't see the Japanese players take advantage of this stuff at the time. And you kind of wonder how history would be different if they did. Like, maybe it would have been considered very controversial. Well, who knows, you know? Like in 2010, if a Japanese player got the Untied and Cavern's 00 with the body armor, maybe history would be different. We would have banned the cartridge altogether, you know? It's totally possible, and so maybe that's what the Japanese players wanted to avoid. At the same time, though, you know, this run is played on PAL, and so it's possible that Cedric knew that PAL was the best version for this level. And was like, okay, I'm going to play PAL. It's better than, you know, the Japanese version. And so let's go. You know, one of the disadvantages of the Japanese version is because of their aversion to knives in media due to various events that occurred in, you know, the 90s Japanese history. You start out the weapon not with the knife, but with a falcon. You start it with a pistol. And so it's a bit of a... Is it a slower start for Sure Flicker? It's sort of like... It's a bit of both, right? It's like a bit of a trade-off, but people seem... I think the falcon could be faster in like a TAS setting. Okay, so he shot that guard... Actually, he shot the last guard at 234. So that was faster than boss by about a second. So he should have a 246 Elvis. And so with like a 17 end, he could get like 303, but that's like a super rare, almost impossible end. Like, don't even... That's like a theoretical end. Most likely he's gonna get 24 end, which would be 310? Let's see if he can get a little bit better than 310 here if he gets a bit lucky. Ooh. We nailed it.
Wow, that's the
309, baby. Cedric did it. 309 Untied world record. Great, great run. 2-second Untied. And it's amazing how well this time holds up today, given that it was set almost 10 years ago. And, yeah, we're going to when we see the rankings at the end of the episode, you'll see it's almost shocking. So here are the world records going to 2015. So about 2 years after Cedric got the 309, it's still Untied, and we can see Shuya's 206 Agent and Boss's 235 Special Agent are still Untied. Those would also go on to be in the top 10 all-time longest-standing Untieds. Really amazing runs. And it's just one of those stages that attracts these, like, it's kind of underplayed, it's kind, you know, and so a great record tends to really stand up well against the test of time. Now we're going to look at a few alternative strategies that are theoretically possible, but, you know, it's sort of, you know, how possible are they? So one we're going to look at here is, will these be used in the future? Who knows, right? So this is called Slayer Ending. So this is a run by Icy. This is from 2015, so we're in that kind of time zone. Like, how are we going to optimize the game from here?
We control the bridge. Then a ship.
If you remember what I said earlier about the real left door and real right door Skedar. Basically, if you get the Slayer, which takes about 12 or 13 seconds out of your way on this level, it is in the level. If you go get it, you can jump a little bit out of bounds here, shoot a Slayer, have it go in here and pass away the real right door Skedar because he is loaded. Then you shoot the Slayer at this Skedar, he passes away, he's the real left door Skedar, and now the level just completes and fades out. So that was just a random cheated run by Icy, but it demonstrates the Slayer ending. And what I find interesting here is that, like, okay, so here's the thing, right? He shoots this Skedar at 209, and it's a 234. So this Slayer ending took 25 seconds from when he passed away the last Skedar. Yeah, I'm just realizing that it's not faster. I thought, like, is this going to be faster? But it's like, usually Elvis comes out after 12 seconds from here, so Elvis will come out at 221. And then it's like 17, in a 1 in a million, or 20 to 24 seconds beyond that. So it takes about 32 to 36 seconds from the last Skedar on the bridge shot to the end of the level. So say 36 seconds is like an average. It took 25 here, so it's 11 seconds. Man, it might be. I'm so torn as to whether this is faster or not. Like, I'm so torn. Like, throughout the night, the best ending we've seen is about 23 seconds. Like on Chuya's 209, a 309. I believe it was about 23 seconds. I need to rewatch this. I feel like there's a chance it's faster. So 234, he shoots that guy. So he's gonna be a 246 Elvis, so a 23 end. So 234 he shot that guy, which would mean with the Slayer ending he could have got 259, right? But then it's like, how long does it take to get the Slayer? And it seems like from my brief testing it took about 12 seconds, 13 seconds. So if Chuya was here at 234, and the Slayer ending takes 25 seconds, plus the 12 seconds it takes to get the Slayer, it's like 37 seconds, which is close to the 12 plus 24, which is 36. I know I'm talking like gibberish, but it's really close. And so the idea that I have in mind is like, if, like, look at this run by Icy, a random Slayer ending. You run up here with the Slayer, you clip out of bounds, you shoot this one, boom. It passes away the real right door Skedar. Now, he could shoot right now. He could have shot 2 seconds earlier. Right? So maybe it doesn't take 25 from the last Skedar. Maybe it takes 23 or 22. Like, maybe there's, he could have played it 2 or 3 seconds faster here. And so, like, maybe, all in all, the Slayer ending is faster, or it's as fast as a good ending, and so it's worth doing for the sake of consistency. Right? It's like, because getting a really fast ending is very rare, if this is more consistent, it might be worth it. I feel like it's like so close in time, it's like within a 1 or 2 seconds, and so like it would be worth it, especially on Agent or Special Agent, where you don't get that many runs to the end. I mean, it might be worth it on Perfect Agent. I'm sorry guys for going full kind of, crazy mode here. Please look into this more. I truly believe the Slayer ending will see Untieds on the stage. I firmly believe. I'm going to stay out there, I'm going to say the Slayer ending will be used for Untieds before the end of the year. I'm going out on a limb and saying that, okay? Here's just another... Oh, this one's crazy too. Oh my god, there's so much craziness. You know the Objective B area, or Objective 2, where you're opening the hangar doors? You can literally find a way to clip out of bounds. This runs from Flicker form. You can clip out of bounds here and get back into the hangar. And so this would avoid having to take the lift down and then go around. Now, it's not very consistent, but you're immediately back into the hangar room. Now you do have to go and talk to Elvis back here. And so it's debatable if this would be faster or equally fast. But again, it's not something that's been tested that much. Here's Henrik pulling it off as well. Falls right through. So that's, you know, again, this is something that could be looked into. I never show like a Reddit video, but it's on our Perfect Dark, and it says, can this be useful in Perfect Agent? Again, look at the top. He just fades right through and gets down. So, very cool stuff. Xbox footage. Again, is it faster? If it's faster by 1 or 2 seconds, is it worth it? Because this is definitely less consistent. The thing with the Slayer ending is that it's probably going to be more consistent to get a fast end. And so I think the Slayer ending needs to be looked into more. And Niall pointed out in chat, and it was a good thing to point out, that only a handful of guys can even get runs to the end fast enough where it would matter. And that's true, but like 4 of those guys, Ace, Alluring Fairy, Lake Demon, etc., like if it adds a level of consistency, it's worth it, I think. So that's that rant. I want to see one of them try and use it. I really want to see... I feel like Alluring Fairy can go and get 205 with the Slayer ending on Agent. Because he could get runs that would be like Untied pace, you know, with an amazing ending already. And so, yeah, I truly believe it. I truly believe... I'm sending all the vibes to these guys to get a Slayer ending world record. I want to see it. Okay, so Cedric's 309 was untied in 2013. It remained untied for about 3 years. In 2016, a man named Greenunet would participate in the Kapap 2 Unhoard video. In that video, he had a section called The Green Project. Greenunet was his username, Green Project. And in the Green Project, he would achieve and release this speedrun. Again, Greenunet, European man from France, PAL region, so he's a natural PAL player.
Just look who you've got.
He would use this to his advantage. Of course, he's a great player, but a beneficiary of being in a PAL natural area to play a lot of PAL and nail this run. I mean, bosses runs, you know, not to take anything away from these PAL runs, but like bosses runs are insane because he was on NTSC. That was really well timed into this lift area. Man, that Scar is brutal coming out there. He had to double back to alert Elvis. But again, it is insane that like these runs, this level is so far from optimized. In a lot of ways, it's almost like the Aztec 00 of Perfect Dark, but it's even worse. Because the ending is random and you need like a good ending to get on a good run, it would be as if you played Aztec 00, but when you activate the mainframe at the end to get the countdown timer, if that timer was random, and it could be anywhere from like 23 to 33 seconds instead of 30. Like, that is literally attack ship, especially attack ship Perfect Agent. It's like playing Aztec if the end timer has a random variance within 10 seconds. And that's what made Chuya's Agent 206 so insane, because, like, he had the best variants, you know? It just... this level is almost too much to take in or understand, honestly. Ooh. So that one you can close right away. This one's the one you want to wait. Or maybe because it was so close to close, it was worth just like closing right away. No, see, this one he waits to open the whole way. It's just a weird quirk with the last lift on this level. So he definitely shot that scar at 233. So that means Elvis is going to come in at 245, which means he's going to get a 24 ending. For 309, because it is a 309, spoiler alert. And so, like, if you got a 20 ending, it's 305. If you got a 17 ending, it's 302. And I'll pull up a run in a minute here to show that, like, a 17 ending is possible, although it's super rare. Real left door Skedar. You hear a footstep, he's coming. Cloned right door Skedar. Bingo, bango, bongo, baby.
That's the first time I've seen another planet.
Oh my
from
god. Everyone loves watching the cutscene. I mean, it makes sense because it's like a rare thing to get an amazing run on the stage. 309, baby. Green did it. But yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that it was like a 24-second ending, which is like, you can get worse than 24-second ending. It's, and again, it's complete luck. But it's unfortunate because... yeah. Like, 24 is like the standard average ending. You can get worse. You can get like 27 or 29. But 24 is kind of the standard. And so, if he had even a little bit faster than that, he would have got an untied. And it could have been up to 7 seconds faster. Okay, so this famous run by Greg K from 2019 on Special Agent, so this is not the same difficulty as tonight, had an 18 ending. And so, again, Green's run was 309. If Green had an 18 ending, it would have been a 303. He would have been a 6-second untied, you know? Let's take a look here. Greg K shoots the last scutter at like 201, so he should get a 213 Elvis. Yeah, so it's like an 18 or 19 ending. So again, it's like 5 to 6 seconds faster than what Green got, you know? And it's like entirely luck. The game checks a bit, and it's like a 1 in 50 chance for it to flip and spawn the scatter early. Look how quick that scatter spawned. That was insane. And this one spawned too insane. Oh my god, this next one must have taken like 5 seconds. Oh no, oh man, that's like as good of an ending as you can get. So that's the Grey K famous 18-second ending. And so like if any of these guys on Perfect Agent got that same ending, it would have been such an insane untitled record. But we're at 309, you know? That's the way it is, baby. In 2019, we would see our good pal Lake Demon, long-time a leader, many-time untitled record holder. He would play attack ship Perfect Agent. He would get very good to level. And, let's see what he would cook up, baby.
Oh, I'd better not be where I think I am.
And it's worse than that, my dear. Just look who you've...
I've got to get those shields.
So now we definitely see the pause buffering era has begun.
You've got to open the hangar doors so we can dock.
But, you know, such crisp movement in comparison to a lot of other runs we've seen. So good. You know, this is now, we're in the pro era. Look, the Scudder's not even there because he's so fast. He was in a worse spot on other runs, you know?
This machine contains stars.
So we see Lake Demon really blazing through the level here. So this lift you want to tightly get through as quickly as you can. And it's one of those things where it's like 2.5 minutes into the level, it's impossible to like cut the early cinema. You're already cutting the first cinema at a certain point in time to get through that first lift as quickly as you can. So to like also time lift 2 minutes into the stage is impossible. You just have to take what you get, you know?
We control the bridge.
And the lag and little variances do affect it as well. Oh my god, here we go. So this is slower than Green's 309. This is going to be pretty insane. 236 last Skedar shot. And like, Lake Demon grinds a lot. He's been the beneficiary of some of these amazing endings throughout his career. But the more you play, so 248 Elvis, the more you play, the more, you know, lottery tickets you buy to cash in. And that's what this level can be so frustrating for some, but for others it's a grind, you know? And so it looks like he's, you know, he had a 248, 249 Elvis there. Let's see what we got. Boom. Bingo, bango, bongo. 307. 2-second untied. He had like a 19 ending there. Just takes a little luck, baby. Yep. Man, he went from 317 to 307, basically, you know, in one session. I'm gonna look at that 310 and see the ending there. But that's it. It was a slower run than Green's 309, but he got a bit luckier. And that's part of the game, baby. Part of every speedrun. Pretty much every speedrun game that exists. Okay, it's like a high 248. So basically a 18 ending, I would say. 18, 19 ending. Amazing stuff from the Lake Demon there. Let's watch his 310, just the ending of it. I want to see like what his luck was like there, because it may have been a faster run to the end than his 307, you know?
Then the ship is out.
So 2. .235, so it looks like it was probably 1 second faster to this point. And yet it ends up being a 3 second slower run, and it was only 1 second off world record, which is... So it's like a low 248 Elvis. So he's getting like a 22 ending. And it's just kind of like crazy, because like, what if he got a 21 ending, and he got the 309 tied? It's like, would he have kept going for lower? You know, maybe not. But because he got a 310, he was like, I'm going to keep going, and he ends up with a 307, untied by 2 seconds. Man, that real Skedar uncloaked really fast there. But 310, you know, insane. It is... The wonders and ways of the luck is pretty crazy. Now, speaking of wonders and ways of the luck, this one is quite the scene. It is not the full run here. Yeah, the Mauler has to be fully charged, Gander. It might not have to be fully charged, but it might have to be like, you know, 60 or 80% charged. You know, it uses 5 ammo to get fully charged. If it's like 3 or 4, they might pass away. But 1 won't do it. So we don't have the full clip here, but the story is basically this. Our pal, Will Zelliver, the Alluring Fairy, is in a horde called Amalgamates, and he wants a really good run to be the finale of this horde. And he's playing Attack Ship Perfect Agent, and he gets the best run ever. He shoots the last scatter at 230 and gets a 242 Elvis. So, if he gets even a 24 ending, which is the standard typical ending, he gets a 306 untied. If he gets an 18 ending, which we've seen possible, he gets a 3-minute flat. Maybe even 259. So that's what's on the table this run. It's unbelievable and remarkable. It's so strange and unusual. He's on the run of a lifetime. This run and this clip and the next run are dedicated to our SpeedLore champion, Mr. Moxie. Of course, a huge thanks, Mr. Moxie, for all of your support of SpeedLore on Patreon. The name of this clip is called Shit Game Quit Forever. 242 Elvis. Anything average or better will be an untied. Let's take a look at what happens.
Joanna, I think we've made them angry.
Where, oh my god, where were they, baby? Where were the... Oh my god. He's like, this is untied, like, where are they? And then this Skedar, you know, didn't open the door that quickly, got confused. This is shocking. It's like the game is trolling him. Oh my, this is unbelievable. He's like, what? He can't, at this point, he can't believe it. He thought he had like a 10-second, a 7-second untied coming. Or at least a 1 to 2 second untied. Worst case scenario. He's stunned. He can't believe what he witnessed. Most runs we saw tonight were a 24 ending. This was a 29 ending. He lost so many coin flips and dice rolls. It's truly heartbreaking. We can see there the title. Game quit forever. Totally. Totally, man. It's unbelievable. And it is cosmically foul. And so I heard about this. This was like January 2021. Ace actually told me about it. And Zella didn't he was hoarding. I didn't even know he was hoarding, but he was hoarding. And so actually, sometimes I would write an article about it. I wrote an article on Steemit, which is like a blogging website about it. I go into great detail. Nowadays, I probably just could have turned this into a YouTube short video. We can see Zella had a 242 Elvis. I highlighted in red. It could have been an 8-second untied world record. It could have been a 259 or 3 minute with a great ending. An average ending would have been 305, 306 untied. And I compare it, Lake Demon's 307, the untied had a 248 Elvis. He's 6 seconds ahead of Lake Demon's. That is so unbelievable to see. So 6 seconds, he could have got 301 easily. 301, 3 minute, and it was not it. It was not it, and he was stuck with his 310 there. It's so... that is soul-crushing, I would say. Soul-crushing. Unbelievable. I think I only ever wrote 2 articles on the Steemit site. It's a strange site. People farm it for cryptocurrency. And I don't know if I'll ever use it again. But, it's, if I want to make a kind of silly, funny post, then who knows. This would be enough to crush most men. He was 6 seconds faster to the ending than the untied world record. But Alluring Fairy, Will Zelliver, is not one to be crushed so easily. His spirit was undaunted. He would go out the next day, 1 or 2 days later, and he would, his persistence would pay off. And again, this is sort of the second half of that clip, but it's a full run. And so this one also goes out to our pal, SpeedLore champion, Mr. Moxie. Let's take a look, baby.
Oh, I'd better not be where I think I am.
And it's worse than that, my dear. Just look who you've got for company.
I really love the background, Will's background from this era. He rarely uses this background, but anymore, he rarely uses it. But at the time, he used it all the time. It looks great. But the Mauler wasn't fully charged. And this one's gonna be hilarious. He had a 242 Elvis on that previous run.
Now only the Hannibal doors are in the way.
What's the Elvis gonna be on this run?
You've got to open the hangar doors so we can dock.
We can see here that Will is playing in Italian for good luck. On the PAL version, you can choose from 4 languages, 5? I think English, French, German, Spanish, and Italian. I think it's 5 languages. Time to head upwards, baby. Let's do it. I thought he might shoot out that Skedar, but no need. Let's see. I bet the movement here is going to be insane. Like I said, we are in the pause buffer era.
This machine contains the star maps.
Rolling up the stairs, baby. And again, you know, of course in SpeedLore you can never, you know, the past run was pretty much the most, Obiettivo 3 completo. Pardon my Italian. The last run was heartbreaking. Oh, look, Zella's just rolling all the way through, right? And again, it's probably roughly as fast to do that. But 95% of runs or more, you are going to pass away, or Elvis is going to pass away. And of course, we're not seeing those 95% of runs that you don't even get this far. Oh man, that was insanely good.
The bridge. Then a ship. It's
Nice shot. This is almost as good as that previous run. Man, it seemed like a 243 Elvis. Oh my god, Zella's insane at this level. Dude, what? Man, if Zella got a bit luckier, I truly feel bad for this man. 244 Elvis, so like this could be a 304, you know?
I think we've made them angry.
The guy's a beast. The dude, you know, is one of the best perfect art players. He's like, come on, dude, don't troll me again. He can barely believe it. When he's like, please, please. There we go, nailed it. He did it, baby. He got the 307. It's truly amazing. He let this end screen play out for 4 minutes. It's amazing. It's amazing. And he posted in the description of this video. It's kind of funny and epic. Because, you know, I made that article previously. He posted, "Can't believe Goose ruined Warps." Warps was like Will, Ace, I forget who else. I don't know. It was some Horp that eventually turned into Amalgamates or something like that. Or it's kind of a pseudo joke. But, you know, the joke, it wasn't their league team because this is January. But yeah, I trolled him by, you know, I didn't intentionally do it. I thought it was newsworthy that he had this insane run. And it was certainly newsworthy that he didn't give up. And he got the 307. And it's a bit of a joke. Did I really ruin Warps? You know. Oh, Will, Ace, Randy, Swiss, Para. That's it. Yeah, there you go. That's the Warps group. They were going to do a little bit of a horde, maybe. Because, like, 3 or 4 of them weren't in Amalgamates, so who knows? But it is what it is, and that's life, you know? And that would be the end of the story. You know, you'd think, okay, Alluring Fairy finally gets 307. From the depths of hell, he completes one more run. But my friends, he is barely a mortal man. And so the next day, he would say, "What do the stars have for me today? Show me your worst." and he would play more attack ship perfect agent. And he would get a run so remarkable, it could only be dedicated to our SpeedLore champion, Soul O'Rock. A huge thanks, Soul, for all your support of SpeedLore on Patreon. Let's watch the final run of the night. Alluring Fairy. Attack ship perfect agent.
Oh, I'd better not be where I
One more time.
And it's worse than that, my dear. Just look who you've got for company.
We will watch the TAS after this. And I think it is worth noting that, like, Ace does not appear in this episode. It's one of very few levels in either game that Ace has never had the world record on. I asked him about it, and he just said that the level is too... And that's the thing, like, Will was the one who described this level as evil. I asked Will the other night, like, you know, tell me about Attack Ship Perfect Agent. He's like, it's an evil level. Like, you know, he almost had a 7-second untied in 2021, and just the bad luck prevented it from happening, you know? And so, you know, if Will considers it an evil level, and Ace doesn't even want to play it, and he's never had the world record on it, like, I think that should show you the most just how awful this level is. It's the most painful level, and that is why, you know, it was a pretty straightforward and simple lore tonight. And it's like, yeah, we do have a few strategy ideas that might end up working and, like, saving a lot of time. We'll see. I would, like... You can tell the strategy of this level really has not changed since your Eliteness is like 327 in 2003, or certainly is 316 in 2004. And that's like 18 years. The strategy's not even changed. And for such a long and complicated level, you would think that it probably should have by then. And so I really hope, and I do love that about these SpeedLore episodes, to kind of put a microscope on it. I really hope that someone figures out something and that some variation to this level happens. You know? Well, he missed that shot, and it's like sometimes you just gotta get lucky and hope that this guy doesn't hurt you or pass away Elvis. And so Will is a firm believer in strafing all the way through. The room is like symmetrical, so if you strafe all the way through, you wrap back around to the place you came. And look, that Scar literally could have one-shotted him right there. And that's part of the luck too, right? Is getting runs to the end and not passing away. I can see the case for strafing all the way through the engine room there, because you maintain full speed rather than going back. Yeah, but if you go back, then you come through a door that was just been opened. So it is a trade-off.
Control the bridge. Then a ship.
Let's see, 230. So it looks like he's finally gonna get a good ending here. He's gonna get like a 20 ending. It was like a 233 there, so it'll be like a 245 Elvis, like a 21 end. So finally kind of a above expected ending on this run. Doppio Mauler just looks so cool. So we got 246 Elvis, like a 20 end.
I think we've made them angry.
And this was Amalgamates was this massive on horde with like 12 people. It was like two hordes that kind of blended together. And this was the closing run of Amalgamates. So very nice stuff from Will. The Thrill, Zelliver, Alluring Fairy. Clutched it out. Finally got rewarded for his persistence. The attack ship, Perfect Agent 306. Truly remarkable, amazing speedrun. And it remains the Untied. I am just a shadow of a shadow of a shadow, always trying to catch up with myself. I am just an echo of an echo of an echo. listening to someone's cry for help. These are lyrics from 9 Inch Nails, it looks like. Yeah, he got the world record on all 3 difficulties, which all 3 were sort of the closing runs of the Amalgamates post-credits. 231, which was untied when set. 306 untied, and then 206 is such a historic run. I've made 2, videos about that one. He got them all. He did it. He clutched it out. What a grinder. What a beast. And that's who he is. And I mean, I think in a lot of ways, maybe this episode kind of spotlights Will in a lot of ways. He is the future of Perfect Dark speedrunning. He is ranked right now in 2nd place. He's pretty close to Ace. Will he pass Ace? Can I encourage him to go and attempt to use a new strategy and get another Untied on attack ship? Maybe, maybe not. Will he enter the gates of the depths of hell and come face to face with true evil once again for more Untieds? Who knows, baby? I mean, he got a recent insane Untied on Crash Site Agent, which is unbelievable. Who even knew 112 was possible? He's a true beast. Doing it up, baby. 306. It's amazing. It's the Untied. And again, look, Ace is at 309. Not bad. He got it when he, rose back to champion during, all that stuff in early 2020. But yeah, look, it's amazing. Your Eliteness 316 is still worth 80 points. 18 years ago, only 17 people have ever beaten it. Funky Buddha's 206 is worth 84 points. 16 years ago, only 13 people have ever beaten it. And so it really shows you just how unbelievable these old runs are, and still are today. The final run of the night I'll show is the tool-assisted speedrun. This was posted in January 2011 by Mika Pikala, Ilu's brother. So it's 11 years old, almost 12 years old, this TAS. I expect if someone were to TAS it again today, much lower would be possible. I see speedruns. If you're watching, I would love to see you TAS Attack Ship Perfect Agent. It would be amazing. Let's watch the tool-assisted speedrun.
Just look who you've got for company.
Got to get to Noah, the hangar bay doors are in the way.
Again, maybe the tool-assisted speedruns will feature the clip from this room. You press B and then you clip out of bounds back into the hangar. It does take a bit of time. I mean, would that be faster? It's really hard to know, because you gotta run right to Elvis. So maybe that won't be faster. Would the Slayer ending be faster? Will something else be found? It's really, really hard to know. So he's heading up at 110. A lot of the best runs that I saw tonight were like 114 at that point, so he's already 4 seconds ahead. And that's probably just, ability to really ensure that you've gotten the best Skedar despawns and passaways. Even there he hesitated, but it's because he probably knows if he left earlier, Elvis wouldn't have completed the objective. Yeah, the hangar's just kind of an unwinnable situation, And it's amazing because, we know on console something like 3 minutes is possible, and the record's 306. That double shot and backtrack is obviously faster than, running all the way through, but that's TAS, so running all the way through on console is probably not a bad go. And again, he probably knows here, like, the lifts are a certain way. He has some time. Warps right through that one. So, like, when he's hesitating, it's because he has time to hesitate with.
We control the bridge, then the ship gets...
So even this, he's 228 there. Will had a 230. So Will was only 2 seconds off the task on his legitimate run. That was like a 240 Elvis. And again, Will had a 242. So it's kind of, like, it shows that A, Will's run that, you know, was so unlucky was insane. And it also shows that this task is kind of old. I would love to see it updated.
Wow.
Wow, baby. Attack ship, perfect agent, 257. And the insane thing is I feel like that's not even that far out of the picture. Like, that's close to possible on console. And maybe one day it will be, you know, my friends. You know, it is a big part of why I enjoy doing these Perfect Dark SpeedLore episodes, is like to hopefully inspire people to go out and do it up and nail the run, you know, and play around some new strategies. And we've kind of always seen that a lot of times when I do an episode, someone goes out there and tweaks something or finds a new strategy or some way or another, you know. So I really hope that happens again, especially at a level like Attack Ship where it needs to happen. It'd be for the best of everybody if a more consistent ending or something like that were to be found. So a huge shout outs to all the players who've got records that we showed tonight. Amazing stuff. Truly remarkable speedruns. You know, it's a hellish level. It's a very tough level. You know, the top 2 players in the game, Ace and Zella, both despise this level, and so I think that about says it all. So that'll do tonight. Thanks to everyone for coming out, chatting, hanging out, all those watching on YouTube, and of course the wonderful SpeedLore legends here. A huge thanks to you guys for helping support the series and making the continuation, all these episodes, possible. I look forward again next month. We'll do another Perfect Dark SpeedLore episode, and I really, really, really hope to do a DLTK episode in mid-October, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Watch this space. A huge thanks once again, the SpeedLore champions and the SpeedLore legends. As always, bless you all. I truly wish you all the best of fortunes in the months ahead. Thank you all for watching, my friends. Stay true, and I'll see you in the next stream or video. Good night.